One Piece theory. We know that Emu burned Saturn to death, and we also know about the rumor that the person carrying the Road Poneglyph is someone with a body full of burn scars. But what if that burned man is actually someone who survived Emu's wrath? This theory makes perfect sense when you connect it to the latest chapters and even to the early moments of One Piece. This theory is going to be epic, so stay tuned and keep watching. In the latest spoilers for chapter 1149, we learn that Emu has the power to control other people's bodies. We even see Gunko's eyes change to a ring-like pattern, just like Emu's, which indicates that Emu has possessed Gunko and taken over his consciousness. Back in chapter 1125, we saw Emu completely burn Saturn's body because Saturn failed in his mission, which was to capture or kill Joy Boy, aka Nika. According to the dialogue in the panel, Emu was furious at Saturn for letting Joy Boy escape. Now let's take a look at a panel from chapter 49 where Zoro, Gin, and Zeph are talking about a man with hawk-like eyes. But then several chefs at Baratie interrupt the conversation and say some pretty bizarre things. Okay, let's take a look at this panel. Pay attention to the dialogue. Look at what they're saying. Some of the chefs mention that old red eyes once came to Baratie. They say he drank too much, which made his eyes really red, and then, out of nowhere, the fool suddenly caught fire and exploded. These lines suggest that the chefs once witnessed something beyond comprehension. A mysterious man who happened to look like Mihawk once came to Baratie. The chefs assumed he was Mihawk, but actually he wasn't Mihawk at all. So, who was this strange man who suddenly caught fire? Now let's connect this to Dracule Mihawk. From the chef's comments, it's clear they saw someone whose eyes resembled Mihawk's. But what does Mihawk have to do with this theory? In the manga, Mihawk's eyes are red and contain a ring-like pattern, just like Emu's eyes. I don't think Mihawk is being possessed by Emu, but he is definitely one of the most mysterious characters in the series. He might come from noble blood, possibly the Nerona family, the same lineage as King Nerona Emu. This could explain why Mihawk and Shanks are so close. They may share a similar background as nobles from the same era or family circle. So now the big question is, who was the man the Baratie chefs were talking about? The one with eyes like Mihawk who caught fire in such a bizarre way. All right, let's first take a look at chapter 1081. In this chapter, the Blackbeard pirates mention that there are 4 road poneglyphs in the world. 2 of them were held by Kaido and Big Mom. Um, One of them is said to be in the possession of a man with burn scars. Lafitte mentions that this mysterious man is rumored to appear on an entirely black-colored ship. He also adds that anyone who gets too close to this ship will be sucked into a giant whirlpool. Shiryu suspects that this person is affiliated with the world government, believing that the government has its own dark secrets, and that they intentionally have someone safeguarding a road poneglyph. Now take a look at chapter 2 of One Piece. During Luffy's first voyage, in the middle of a perfectly clear day, a massive whirlpool suddenly appears and pulls him under. This moment seems to strongly relate to chapter 1081, matching the characteristic appearance of the man with burn scars who holds a road poneglyph. Now let's move to the key points. In chapter 1149, we are shown Gunko's eyes changing, revealing a ring pattern identical to Emu's eyes. In chapter 1125, we see how Amu burns Saturn's body completely. If you look closely at chapter 49, during the chef's dialogue, it relates heavily to chapters 1149 and 1125, specifically the sudden eye color change to red with a ring pattern like Emu or Mihawk, and the body burning. Here's my theory. The person the chefs were talking about was a government agent who failed to carry out a mission from Aimu, similar to how Saturn was punished by having his body burned. Now, what mission did he fail? I believe this government agent's mission was to protect the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or Nika fruit, but he failed. You might say, wasn't Who's Who assigned to guard the fruit? Yes, that's true, but don't you think relying solely on Who's Who was too risky? On the other hand, involving an admiral or large naval forces just to protect a devil fruit would raise suspicion and be too obvious. So perhaps the Gorosei and Emu deployed a secret intelligence agent to watch over the fruit. This agent is none other than the one who possesses the ability to create whirlpools, just like the one Blackbeard's crew mentioned in chapter 1081. This agent then lost to Shanks in the battle over the fruit. He chased Shanks all the way to the East Blue, trying to reclaim the fruit. However, he lost track of Shanks and ended up at Baratie. That's when Emu's punishment occurred, matching the chef's dialogue in chapter 49 about a man with red eyes who suddenly burst into flames and exploded. So, when this person showed up at Baratie, the timeline aligns with Luffy's childhood, the time when Shanks met Luffy. And then, during Luffy's very first voyage in Chapter 2, Luffy is suddenly caught in a giant whirlpool. It's possible that the burned man returned to the East Blue, searching for Joy Boy or Nika in an attempt to atone for his failure.